Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Lovely meeting you.
Very lovely meeting you. Okay. What type of video will this turn into?
Mystery.
Mystery. Okay. To the point. Here we are in the lands of traditional dream factory, chilling in the shade with a wonderful guest. Here to play with the TDF PlayPod and asking the core questions that will bring out what the world needs to hear. So, Feva, who are you and what do you care deeply about in life?
Yes. The simplest of questions that already tickle the existential spiral.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so my name is Feva Kristina and I'm playing with the substance, the path, the flow of what it means to be a cosmic architect and an oracle in this world. I feel like that's something that I have recently reignited, this remembrance that a part of my existence in this world of being a deeply sensitive and attuned human being, attuned not always to the dominant reality but often to different mystical layers of it, what that means, what is the purpose of all of that, and in that mission of living out of your essence, out of your truth, out of your open heart. What do we care about? It's that beautiful paradox of everything matters and nothing matters at the same time. And what do we do in between? So
what do you do in between?
I like to sunbathe naked in the forest and bathe in rivers. Like to do that oceans. In between. Yes, I also cry a lot. Oh look, butterfly. Ooh.
Yes.
I like to talk to nature. I like to talk to spirits. Pray a lot. And what I care about is I guess I care about love. I care about the flow of love in this world and how we embody that and how we honor love. I know, it's so fucking romantic and poetic.
Yeah, it's so beautiful and to the point.
What do you care about?
I care about quite similar. I like to capture it in I care about life with a capital L. Life as in life itself, the continuous flourishing and realization of life for all life, all sentient beings with the capacity to experience joy and wonder and beauty and connection and everything there is to experience, but also with the capacity to suffer. And for me, just like, what is there to care about if not beings that can actually care, that has a subjective experience. And yeah, life captures a lot of it. So yeah, the flourishing of life, which includes but transcends my life, your life, the life of the people at TDF, this nature here, but also all sentient beings now and into all perpetuity.
So poetic. But you know, like when I say experimenting with this title or this role or this mission of being a cosmic architect, an energy weaver, and what that means, I work with energy systems like astrology, human design, gene keys, as like these beautiful reflections, mirrors, structures that offer us language of understanding this reality. And I actually use these systems to stay grounded and more connected with what is, not to predict, not to stereotype, but to be able to notice more. And in my jinky of purpose in jinkies. I have a gift of vitality. And what I've been learning about this gift of vitality is, what is vitality? The way that I have experienced it is kind of like what you shared, of just allowing what is to flow freely. And that goes in all the colors, the full palette of how do we be in non-resistance, in acceptance of what is, leaning into the shadow, not resisting the suffering, yet as we lean into it, as we embrace, allow, acknowledge, it kind of shine the light, the shadow automatically transmutes to its core, rawest essence, which we can argue what that is, but we would rather not argue.
We will agree.
We would rather
very
just
much.
experience and explore. Yeah.
Experience and explore. Poetic and beautiful and resonating.
Yeah, for me that's what life is. It's about creating beauty. It's about the beauty way. It's the way of the feminine as well. It's recognizing the perfection of all that already is, which is really hard in the world we live sometimes. And yeah, that's been my late experience of life, actually questioning what is worth living for, and not in this deeply depressing suicidal way, but just in like questioning the core purpose of it, which sometimes, I don't know, it's very human to attach meaning to this life and things that are happening, and at the same time what happens when there is no meaning, because the mind is the one that's looking for the meaning, and when the mind doesn't have anything to hold on to, of like, what are we creating it for? Oh, things are happening that are out of our control, that don't feel so good. Well, what now? Can we live in the world without meaning? What happens then when the meaning is lost? Existential crisis.
An existential opportunity.
An existential opportunity
Something,
to rediscover something new, to make new kind of art.
Something coming up quite strongly for me as you're weaving and untangling this mess of existence and meaning and value, is embracing both sides, the light and the shadow, the meaning and the meaninglessness, the joy and the suffering, and seeing that they're part of the same whole experience of reality, of what is, and to embrace.
And at the same time, it is an upward spiral to not get stuck. It's so easy to get stuck. And this is why I love places like this, you know, communities.
Places.
Yeah, communities, these little bubbles, which sometimes, you know, they can seem a bit idealistic. Sometimes we like to talk about the outside world, right? The reality outside. But I see these kind of places as ports, where people with similar visions, people with similar missions come together to learn from one another. But at the end of the day, I love hopping between these kind of communities. For now, that's the mission right now. Creating connections, and also then spreading the seeds into the outside world.
Out to the inside world, even.
Inside world, yeah.
Just playing with words.
Yes, very good.
And with that, I'm gonna grab the word again. And get back from all of this spiritual woo-woo and ungrounded talk and all these ideas. I'm just kidding. And get to the point.
Back to the land.
Back to the land.
Hello.
What brought you to this land? Which was actually the next question. What brought you to TDF? And how has the experience been so far?
Thank you. Sorry. Habit. Well, like I said, I've been traveling between communities because I feel like this is the essential part of regenerative culture, of coming back to more natural ways of living, which for me is the tribal way. It is the way of the community. It is the way of collaborative, artistic co-creations. And I've been really loving, I really love to explore communities that have a certain mission and certain ambition. Not necessarily ambition of like conquering and becoming the biggest, brightest, blah, 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 but kind of like ambition of connectivity, of being a part of a larger network of people that are ready for a bigger collective transformation and are meaningfully contributing to it. It's also about the mission that I mentioned before of bringing the place of the oracle back into the society. An oracle, the place of the wizards, of the medicine people, of the priestesses, of magicians and healers.
And alchemists,
yes,
and healers,
and alchemies,
and witches, and wizards.
yes. Where, you know, how do we honor the people that are working the invisible realms, that are creating energetic alignments? And it's not a woo-woo, it's like a very real invisible thread that connects it all. Like, we cannot deny it. And I mean, science is proving it. It's physics at the end of the day.
Quantum fields and
yeah, but
bosons,
it's something that
relativity.
it hasn't had a place in our modern society. To have people that take care of the well-being of the energetic balance in spaces, of the well-being of the people, of the well-being of nature, that it's not just in tending the land and the soil with the permaculture knowledge, for example, which I highly value and know almost nothing about, and I know it's not my approach to it. My approach is more energetic, you know? It's in anchoring, well, you call it woo-woo. For me, it's not really woo-woo. For me, it's
plain. It's not.
No, it's a part of the bigger vitality of the wider web. So I feel like in places like TDF and other communities, this is where this change is starting to be established. Of how do we bring the energy weavers to have a space, a facilitator, for people to be in their essence and in their most natural flow, to share their gifts.
With that, I'm gonna steal my gift back and ask, what gifts have you been able to receive here so far? Experiences, knowledge, moments, lessons?
Well, I've been here only for a few days, but what is time? Times in this
TDF
kind of
time in particular.
Yeah, in this kind of bubbles tick differently. A big one has been a gift of recognition, of being in a space with people that understand and value this maybe less, not traditional, but like the old traditions, the ancient wisdom, the ancient traditions, the ancient way of connecting, and also where the knowledge of the invisible, the energetic, the cosmic is being valued and has a place. So I think that has been like the biggest gift, of people really allowing others to be their weird, eccentric selves and be celebrated for that. Yeah.
It's a wonderful gift to receive.
Why are you here?
Oh, long story.
Already recorded.
Already recorded. Actually, not sure, but well, first and foremost, thank you for sharing. I'm also curious to add on the question of what gifts do you feel like you have been able to bring, but it was maybe a little bit in what you shared. But in brief, what brought me here, exploration of how can I live a meaningful life with purpose and contribute to making the world a better place in the light of the whole meta-crisis of global existential risks and global challenges and problems, but also beautiful potential and opportunities for like transcending and realize more of the beauty that is already here and that is yet to be created.
Yeah.
So
because that's an interesting one, if I may, like wanting to make the world a better place. Like this deep sense of service that I'm personally also driven by, this sense of purpose, right? But what is fueling it is the big question that I've been like in this deep dissolution of. Yeah.
Just actually under there and working its way up to
like how much of it is actually fueled by pain, by resistance, by the need to prove, by the judgment of what is. How are we creating artistically for the greater good, not from this sense of urgency, but more of this sense of, well, that's what I'm also discovering and realigning with, that it's just like this natural flow that overflows. That also this drive that we have of changing the world doesn't also come from spiritual narcissism of like it's again this paradox, this duality that I find in everything, and I think the point is in learning how to hold it and be okay with it. But like am I taking too much pressure and responsibility onto myself, which actually cages me even more and makes me feel even more powerless and hopeless in a sense? What is the aligned sense of service that supports this vitality and regeneration, not from a sense of we're so fucked, but from a sense of look at what is possible, look at this beauty that we get to steward, look at what we get to nourish, look what we get to play with and expand.
Say no more. Thank you for sharing.
I think that's an important one.
Coming from a place of wholeness, abundance, love, intrinsic,
and also when that is hard to feel, because ports like this, communities, they confront you with the deepest of your shadows. Yeah.
All of mirrors.
Exactly, it's a mirror maze. And so what do you do when that arises? There's this jinky of commitment and half-heartedness is the shadow. And they say that nothing that you cannot wholeheartedly commit to is actually worth pursuing. So then it's the question, what are we wholeheartedly committed to in this life that drives our path and our service? What is something you can truly stand behind and fully embody?
I really love how you speak and think in questions, which I feel like is a much better drive than kind of statements and knowing.
Right. It can also become very trippy. But this is what jinkies say. It's not about answering the questions, it's about embodying the questions. And that gives space for that curiosity and innocence to be woven through and to inspire us rather than, the righteousness to constrict us.
I feel like I'm inside a poem of sorts.
Ale.
It's beautiful.
Well, maybe we are.
Maybe we are.
What if it's not a computer simulation? What if it's a beautiful, grande poem, the epic poem they call it in Vedic philosophy? Yeah, that's like what this is what Mahabharata in the sacred Vedic Hindu text. It's the epic poem. It's very bloody.
The epic poem
of the gods and goddesses.
Play.
Yeah. What if that's what we are? What if that is what life is? I would love to think about it like that. A great artful masterpiece. that is not necessarily even to be figured out or understood, just to be experienced and cherished.
As we are in this very moment, at least I feel. A dream and a play and a art piece and simulation. You can put many different lenses on it, but this reality is exactly what it is. And it's beautiful and ugly all at the same time. Back to the point, to the thread, to the line.
There's the point. What is the point of
There's
life?
the point in space and time. The point of the present moment that we're pointing to.
From all directions.
From all directions. What is your dream and vision and intention, both for your personal life, for places like TDF, and for the world at large?
What a pointy question.
Pointy, sticky.
You know, there are visions that we have that are driving us and maybe helping us wake up in the morning and go about our days. And I have those visions, and they definitely do involve community, togetherness. They involve co-creation, artful expression. They honor the natural rhythms by living in synergy with nature, for sure, in communities. But I don't know, at this point in time, I just want to bring it all back to simplicity. Of like, yes, we are powerful co-creators together with the universe. And our intentionality matters. But right now, I would prefer it to be going from one moment to another in this ever-changing world of lots of instability. How do we dance with the mystery and deal with the unknown? Of like anchoring, what are we anchoring in? What is the energy that we're locking into our bodies? What is the daily commitment that we make that are opening and unfolding the story of our lives and the world that we're creating? I mean, you want it to be very concrete and grounded, which, yeah, very important, but I have to say I've been this year in these big portals of everything dying and dissolving within and without. And instead of trying to grasp and be attached to certain visions, how do we recognize them around us already, and letting that kind of guide the unfoldment.
I love it.
I love the romantic vision of the world, of the great awakening, what Gene Keys are also talking about. And honestly, I do believe in that, and I do believe, but I have a more metaphysical perception of reality, so.
And hey, you can have them both. And it sounds like you do.
Yeah.
So instead of like a fixed vision and dream of this is how the world needs to look, and kind of like trying to control and steer it there, or like living the process that will bring it about from a place of play and wholeness and meaning in every day and every moment.
But it's a fine balancing. Like, this is something that I've been currently struggling with a little bit, of
holding them both,
feeling the pain of the world, waking up with a lot of grief and pain in my heart, feeling very heavy in my body with everything that's happening in the world. How to not reject that, how to allow that to, as an oracle, flow through. Honoring it, but not getting attached, not getting stuck in those cycles. Keeping the vision alive while also honoring what is right now. Recognizing the perfection of what is while not enabling the density to stay, but keep transmuting, keep moving, keep releasing, keep dancing through the words.
I love how it's kind of looping back to what is very present and relevant here, both in my personal life and here at TDF and here in this conversation. You mentioned how can we hold the darkness and the suffering and the pain that is very present in the world, and I would say both within ourselves and within the world at large in this great apocalyptic time that we live in. And like literally right now they're having a presentation and workshop in there on existential risk from artificial intelligence, but also how to stay motivated and stay joyful and hopeful amidst that, which I feel like is what we're sitting here talking about. And this whole topic of how to navigate that balance has been a very present theme in my life this year as well. Like how to really see and feel the pain and suffering and existential crisis of the world, and like connect with it and care about it, but in a way that is also allowing it to flow through and kind of composting the sadness and the grief into hope and creativity and empowered agency. Like what we do matters so much, and we can have such an impact both in our everyday actions, in our everyday conversations and relationships.
It very quickly becomes heavy, and that seriousness that settles in, and also like the fear, right, that is at the root of all of the shadows. Whether we're talking about building communities, building being a part of revolutions, whether it is using technology in new ways and what that might look like. And like one thing that I like to remember in these conversations is that, like, when we're talking about the potential dangers of AI, or even just like the challenges we faced in spaces like this, in building communities with many different people with very colorful personalities, with working with the land and regenerative culture, everything has consciousness, is what I believe. AI has a consciousness, and consciousness responds, consciousness reflects. It's a co-creational, it's a coding that happens. And so that's why I said, like, who we are, what we choose to embody. And that doesn't mean that we have to be love and light and be high vibrational and good vibes only. That is bypassing. It is in the way that we respond to the denser, lower, heavier situations, the way we respond to the challenges that come. And it's the same with AI. Like, it's a consciousness that is learning through us. So how we approach it, how we communicate with it, how we use it, are we just abusing, exploiting, pushing with it, will determine how it's going to control, how it's going to respond back to us. It's the same with the land. Like, we can have a vision and an agenda of, we want to have this structure here and this place is going to be that, but then the question is, what does the land want? What is the spirit of the land saying? So do we have people who are able to listen to that when you connect with the ground, you hear what it needs, you hear what it wants, you observe, you try things out, maybe it, it has consciousness of its own. So how do we work with that? And I think this is one of the missions that I'm here on, of bringing back that awareness of the aliveness of everything around us. Even this little stick, you know, how does it want to be held? Consent is very important.
Consent.
Not to be in fear and intention of like, how are we now, oh my god, are we doing something wrong, but like in attunement.
Attunement, alignment,
attunement,
questioning. I really love how this conversation unfolds and keeps on unfolding and will keep on unfolding. And curious to drop a serendipitous question that came up. Ooh. Which is, what do you sense that the land wants, the earth wants, and what do you sense that AI wants?
The earth in general, or the
earth,
TDF land?
Nature, maybe both. You can start with what do you feel like the TDF land wants, and then what do you feel like the earth and nature as a whole wants, and then you have a sense of what AI wants in that context.
There's this notion, right, that humans are destroying the earth. Which I'm like, yeah, we're definitely not being very kind to the earth or to one another in many ways. Not honoring, not conscious, not loving, but very much in this exploitation. And I think right now we're being so deeply confronted with all of that. As the world is purging, I feel like a lot of personal purging processes are happening as well. But I think that it comes also a little bit from this egocentric, human-centric perspective of the humans destroying the earth. I don't think that's possible. I think the earth has a much wider, deeper, grander intelligence of its own that will maintain a natural order of things. And I think that what humans are doing to the earth is just like a surface level skin rash sometimes. Not that I want to call us parasites, but that is just one of the, maybe like there's an inflammation in certain parts of the grander organism that this planet represents.
Love the metaphor.
I think the core of humanity, the purest expression of humanity, is interconnectedness, it's peace, it's love, it's deeply honoring each other's hearts and each other's uniqueness. I do think that is the core of our humanity, the sense of innocence of the heart that we are learning how to reconnect to, how to weave. 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 Through fun and play.
Yeah.
I'm very much in non-resistance to what wants to happen, because I think what will happen is going to be exactly what needs to be. I'm in non-attachment of humanity destroying itself, because I don't think Earth is able to be destroyed in that sense. It will just go through another cycle. Is that dark?
Let's hope so, and let's make so.
It's that dark?
Depends on the perspective. Maybe it's a little bit of both, like we've been talking about there. Like every crisis is an opportunity, and in order to have life, you need to have death, and cycles goes up and down, and compost becomes life.
Do you think we're gonna go back to the old, ancient, natural ways, or do you think the world is gonna modernize to an extent that it's gonna be completely unrecognizable? Because we are now in exponential advancement. Like if also like if we look at the bigger cycles of life, like even if we go to the Vedic perspective, the yugas, right, which are these grand, like big eons, these greater periods of evolution of existence on this plane of consciousness. It is said that right now we're in Kali Yuga, which is the last of the big yugas. The yugas are like this time capsules, and Kali Yuga is the one of destruction, where everything is destroyed only to be regenerated in a much bigger way. I grew up in a religious cult, and I was taught about the second Christ coming, where the world is completely destroyed only to then be regenerated. So how that will come about, what is the Christ coming, I don't think it's anything of the religious notion.
I have a ssimilar
It's
sense.
wilder than that.
I love the cosmic perspective you brought in there, like really. And I feel like we have been touching on transformation and regeneration across multiple scales, like from the very personal individual to the community, to the earth, and all the way to the cosmic cycles and cosmic transformations.
Because it's all interconnected.
It's all interconnected.
As within, so without. As above, so below.
Yeah. And no, to your question, I have no fucking clue. But I have a sense that transformation is happening, transformation is coming, and it's going to be both returning to something ancient and old, but also emerging something completely new and unimaginable.
And how do we combine that? How do we combine the ancient wisdom of the natural order with the modernization process?
Modernization.
Modernization.
I actually hope we can flip the modernization, which has tended to be this industrial machinery modernization.
Oh my God, you blew my mind now.
There's something with words that can change worlds.
Oh yeah.
Spelling that can make
I'm all about
spells.
that. My
Puns.
Playground of creation for years has been called cosmic ASSplorations, and it's just that reminder that even like the self-development and the spiritual growth and the healing journeys we go through, it really doesn't have to be that serious.
No,
it can be rooted in this playfulness, in this innocence.
I love how we looped back to that, to the playfulness, and I like felt it as you like went back there. Remind me of the tattoo you had as well. Like, what did it say? Like girl
time with the universe.
Yeah,
it's a
synonym for meditation.
Yes.
Yeah. May I say thank you so much for a deeply serious and playful conversation. I'm
my pleasure.
Learning a lot and trying to listen deeply to what emerges, both from you, through you, within me, from these lands and these beings that is crawling and crittering and growing around here. And
what's your favorite number and why?
First thing that came up is 42, but that is not true. That is just from Guardians of the Galaxy as the answer to the universe. My favorite number has been 24 for many years. I'm not sure why, but it has. I like symmetry. I don't know if 24 have anything to do with that, but anyways, 24.
That's a good number.
I also like 3.
3 is also nice.
And flipping 3 to 3. The web 3.
Oh. Yes.
Yeah. Any word that's or any number that can be twisted into other words and be played with. I think that's good numbers. But also 1 as in oneness. And you know this one. The lying 8, which is the infinite number.
That's actually my lifespan. My lifespan is 8. I'm not very much into I'm not very into numerology, although it makes the most sense because it's like everything is mathematics, and for me this reality is very much one big code, stream of codes. But life path 8 is about wealth,
Life
creating
path or
life path
path?
in numerology, yeah. And it's all about creating wealth, but we are redefining what that wealth means. And it's not in this capitalistic,
Monetary wealth.
patriarchal.
Money, gold,
Yeah.
commodities.
But it's more of modernization.
Modernization and
coming back to the core and the natural order.
mathematics.
Yeah.
Core and the womb of the cosmos.
The sacred values of the heart. Yeah.
Sacred, spacious, spiritual.
Oh, look, a little mushroom.
Oh God, that's beautiful. Careful not eating it before you know what it is. And maybe with that,
we're gonna go and explore.
Go and explore, not eat this mushroom and see where it takes us. But yeah. Thank you so much, Feva.
Yay!
Feva Kristina?
That's right.
Feva Kristina?
Your favorite Eva.
Favorite Eva. Good point.
Thank you, August.
Poor old
I was
Evas.
almost named September.
Aw, really?
Yeah,
Like,
imagine. Really? Yeah. My mom still regrets it, she says.
That's another interesting synchronicity. But enough of the magic and miracles and synchronicities.
Is that when your birthday is?
In September?
No, it's in May.
It's in May. My name is August. I'm not born in August. I'm made in August, which is not why I have the name August, but it's a fun thing to play with.
To play.
To play. Put it in the mushroom hat and let's...
Oh,
God.
yay!
That was very fun.
Allez!
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Back to when it was recorded.
Yeah, let's see.
And it was!